Yeah, it's probably be more of a low-key episode anyway.
But no more Borg cube.
Well, like with half the ship dropping, it's probably best I ran this one instead of the one I was going to run.
I'm going to start here, so
Cool.
we're already live.
Cool.
Captain's Log 54363.3. The expedition is en route for uncharted waters. Currently, Chief Engineer Mora has taken a assignment with the Starfleet Engineering Corps to work on a recent uncovered Borg technology, as well as Counselor Dai is currently undergoing a sabbatical and plans to conduct further studies on Earth. So far, it's been smooth sailing. Hopefully, the sailing. Now I lost my train of thought. Hopefully, this trend continues in Captain's Log.
All right, so you guys are just flying in warp, and maybe toward the end of Alpha. So I'll allow any chance for some free role play before we actually get things rolling here. And you get to see my warpy star field.
Anything on long range sensors, Lieutenant Nadon? Dan?
I will run the sensor scan. There it is. Just some civilian vessels. Nothing of note, really.
Well, with any luck, Beta Shift will have a very easy evening ahead of them. Any plans?
For the evening?
It's kind of open question to everybody.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the question.
Any plans?
Oh, okay.
Sounds like they don't want to divulge that information to their captain.
I'm trying to think of something I haven't said before. The usual. Whatever I always say.
Sorry, it's my attempt to spark roleplay.
The doctor is in sickbay in his office with his monitor on and desk covered with various pads as he continues to study the Borg implants in David to try and figure out the next steps of the series of operations he needs to take to try and safely remove him and restore his memories, hopefully.
Go ahead and give me a insight medicine difficulty 1, Doctor.
All right, bear with me as I deal with this teeny tiny.
Just press buttons until it works.
Oh, so just like normal. Do we have any momentum?
No momentum. It just started. This is technically the momentum gaining roll.
All right, having some trouble here. having to reload the.
Roll 20, yap nut up to par.
Is it ever? You mind rolling the insight medicine for me? Just do it with.
Well, if you guys want me to roll for it, I can.
Yeah, it's the roll.
And I'll roll it. Ooh.
Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta make. Yeah, I'll probably give you a focus. So yeah, we'll give you 2 moments. Doctor, you figured that his recovery has gone well, thanks in part to many of the Borg nanobites still active in the body, but you figured you could start removing large portions of the metal plating that's on the outside of his body, and start to repair some of the skin pigment.
Satisfied, Sam kind of stands up and puts his hands in his lower back and stretches and twists from where he's kind of been sitting at the desk all day, and pops his neck and makes plans on the shift roster for the surgical nurse and Dr. McKenzie, and to join him in surgery sometime tomorrow after everybody's had a good night's.
Cool. Anybody else?
Yeah, I imagine Casey is just taking some time off in his quarters, listening to music, drinking a cognac or something.
Well,
And,
I still got you on shift currently.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's stocked up on Earth and with the fancy stuff to cope with his horrible issues.
Well, if there is no pressing concern, Lieutenant Casey, the center chair is yours. I'm going to go for a walk before the end of my shift.
Yes, Captain.
Prax gets up and heads for a little patrol around the ship.
Anywhere specific you wish to head?
Not really.
Cool. I think I'll just go ahead and start kicking things off here. So I'll send some info to Nadon. I have no idea if this is your actual console or not.
That would be the secondary tactical station.
I will send that to the navigator station and to the current
You could just report it to everybody.
so there is currently a ship on intercept course with us. And I'll bring it up on screen.
Okay.
And the ship drops out of warp about 500 kilometers off the port.
Please scan the ship as detailed as you can, Lieutenant Nadon. Casey to Captain Prax.
Go ahead, Lieutenant.
We've encountered an unidentified vessel off the starboard bow, I believe you said.
Port.
Port bow, Captain.
On my way.
If I may, Lieutenant, I recommend we take evasive maneuvers, given that it's on intercept course with us.
Yes, helm, evasive maneuvers immediately.
I believe they're hailing.
Is that the hailing sound? Okay. On screen.
Hello, unknown starship. I am Lockhart, the proprietor of this ship, and I see that you are in need of some entertainment. So I extend a welcome to the crew to come aboard, look at the life of exotic and terrifying worlds, the like you have never seen before. We have specimens from the Alpha Quadrant, the Gamma Quadrant, even as far as the Delta Quadrant. If that is not up to your taste, come check out my show of my favorite species. The first show is free, of course, and the museum is open all day, every day. But my show starts at 1700. You don't want to miss it. And the transmission cuts off.
What did this guy look?
Frog.
Yeah. Business frog.
Green, short.
I'll try to
Very-
post. I'll try to post it in
Distance prog-
X. I gotta find where I put it.
Nice.
The random stuff you find on the internet.
That alien seems completely trustworthy.
So when did Prax get on the bridge? I roll back.
What's that?
When did she get back onto the bridge? Prax did.
Probably right after.
Lieutenant Casey, what?
I don't really know how to describe this, Captain. And then he'll just like pull up on the sort of on a console, just like a recording of the message, I guess, to show the captain exactly what it was.
All right, hold on. I'll do it again. Hello, unknown starship. I am Lockhart, the proprietor of this ship, and I see that you are in need of some entertainment. So I extend a welcome to the crew to come aboard, look at the exotic and terrifying worlds like you have never seen before. We have species from the Alpha Quadrant, the Gamma Quadrant, even as far as the Delta Quadrant. If that is not up to your taste, come check out my show of my favorite species. The first show is free, of course. The museum is open all day, every day, but my show starts at 1700. You don't want to be late. And the transmission cuts out after that.
Lieutenant Dan, can you please scan that vessel?
Yes, I initiated scans.
Go ahead and give me a reason science difficulty, or actually, this is probably reason con. Difficulty 2.
Okay. Complication range is normal.
Yep.
Is this from the ship?
Sensors count.
Be difficulty 1. The advanced sensors.
Yep.
Thing I got the assist from the ship.
I believe you guys get a momentum out of that. I'm typing some stuff for.
Lieutenant Casey, I want all weapon lockers and all sensitive equipment to be secured. Do not want a repeat of a Sir Ferengi friend.
I understand, Captain. I'll have guards posted immediately.
Captain, the hull of the ship is lined with kelbinite, so we cannot scan inside. They do not appear to have weapons or shields enabled. They've sent us also a list of coordinates.
Very well. At least they're not hostile. Tactical thoughts? Lieutenant Casey?
Seems pretty fishy, Captain. Species on display. I wouldn't trust any person still doing that in this age.
Sounds like servitude or some sort of slavery work. Though if they are being held against their will, that doesn't mean that we can't interfere. Or should we?
I guess that is a question beyond what I can answer. I guess it would be up to one's interpretation of the Prime Directive and how we handle. Is this a first contact situation? Do we know this guy's species, or?
You have never seen it before.
Okay, so I guess it's also a matter of first contact protocol, Captain.
Well, they are in Federation space.
Good point.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a trap.
Well, do we spring it?
Well, Lieutenant Casey, what do you think for a little bit of shore leave?
Certainly not opposed.
Lieutenant Nadan, how about yourself?
Could be an interesting experience. Worth a try.
Lieutenant Blackwell. Oh, sorry, Lieutenant Commander Blackwell.
Sick bay, Blackwell.
Commander, how do you feel about a little stroll on a anonymous ship with a odd, peculiar salesman offering a halfway decent time? He says he has exotic beings from across the galaxy.
Well, sure, Captain. Nothing about that sounds off. I'll be sure to bring a med kit and a
Actually, Doctor, change into something more civilian clothing. I think we might have to go a little bit undetected.
mufti it is. Aye, Captain.
The same goes for the two of you as well.
Aye, Captain.
So I do want us though to get some head to sickbay first for some essentially bio probes, like implants or biomonitoring.
Right.
I don't have the book open in front of me, or the science book. Essentially, they act as sort of beacons that we can be transported away easier.
Yeah,
Right,
if you
Doc.
wanted to be fitted with a homing beacon, it's an opportunity cost.
Yeah, they're opportunity cost of 1, but they're bio implants, so they'll kind of go undetected.
Yeah, subdermal fire.
Yeah.
All right, and you guys will walk into the doctor's office. You'll see him changed into his civilian attire.
Yeah, it's kind of your standard. He's got some form of slacks on, a loose tunic with kind of a sleeveless, open vest kind of jacket that comes down to about his hips and or actually about down to the bottom of the top of his thighs, where it can conceal like a Type 1 phaser and a tricorder med kit, that kind of thing. What can I do for you?
Doctor, I'd like to have the entire way team fitted with subdermal bioprobes for our safety.
I assume you want them rigged as homing beacons as well?
Precisely. Never know what sort of trouble we'll run into.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, step into my parlor. Motioning them into the big
And you need to
service. And I will inject the party with subdural bioprobes with a homing beacon.
Okay, cool. And you said it was opportunity cost 1, so if you will spend that, please.
Yeah, we'll also take a threat.
I do enjoy threat.
It's 1 per. And then we'll just type 1 phasers all around, so we can hide them.
Works for me.
Sounds good.
To the transporter room. Or our fate awaits us of certain captivity.
You could always take a shuttle.
The captain of the ship prefers the transporter, apparently. Sorry, Doc. All right, I believe this is a difficulty 2.
Yep. So it'll be, I guess, using Knight, our regular transporter operator. Give you a threat. Transporters and replicators for a focus.
Sure do.
She rolls like a champ.
Yeah, why is it the transporter chiefs always roll massively well? 3 momentum out of that.
It's because they're all compared themselves to O'Brien.
Yeah, well, technically he is the instructor at the academy now.
I think there's a promotion in line for Knight.
I think the great bird of the galaxy, they do always.
Oh, she gets a free upgrade. I will worry about that later. Apparently, I didn't have last week's one in there either.
All right, then you are transported onto onto the pad. The interior of the ship is like some bright and colorful reds. Well. You are greeted by the proprietor that you saw on screen. And there's a few other people there that are working around the ship, walking around. It's pretty busy. They mostly seem to be of the same race as the proprietor. Welcome, welcome, crew of the expedition. It is so nice of you to join us. Tell me, which one of our many attractions would you like to see today?
Well, we know very little about you, and surprisingly, you know much about us.
It is we have rather advanced sensors and we are able to gather bits and pieces from your database. I hope you don't mind. It is customary to know all we can about potential guests and customers before we make our introduction.
However, we do value our privacy. I suggest the next time.
Of course, I wouldn't steal any ideas. I'm not what you call a Ferengi. It is merely so I can be your host as best of my ability. But you asked about our attractions here. We have a museum of all of the species that we have collected throughout our travels. We have my own personal show, which starts in, oh my, 30 minutes. There's many to enjoy on our ship. Whichever you choose, you have free reign of our ship to do whatever you please.
That's very gracious of you.
Now, if you excuse me, I have to prepare for my show, but feel free to walk up to one of our terminals if you get lost or wish to know have a complete list of our. If you'll excuse me, I hope to see you at my show. And he'll walk and head away from you.
Interesting fellow. So
The one sound I need is crowded promenade. So just like imagine like a lot of people coming and going, they're all talking. There's probably like it's like a bunch of families, what looks like children. The children are excited. They're all going out the computer terminals, looking at stuff, walking away, coming and going. It's pretty busy, pretty lively. There's a few species that you don't recognize, but a vast majority are of the species that the proprietor is.
Well, Captain, shall we take a tour? Maybe taking a show?
Well, he did say his show started in a half hour. I guess a little wandering won't hurt.
All right, so you're doing some wandering.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys are walking around the ship, and it very much looks like a museum or like a zoo. There's a bunch of like exotic plants, much that you've never seen before. There's a bunch of different animal life. Some you notice are like carnivorous. Some are plant eaters. But there's fish life forms. They all seem to be grouped by planets, by quadrants. Like so, there'll be like Delta Quadrant species, and then a bunch of from different planets will be like Gamma Quadrant species. A bunch from the Gamma Quadrant, few from the Alpha Quadrant. But you just get the sense that it's very busy, people coming and going, looking at all the different things. You do notice that a few of the Alpha Quadrant species do seem to be rather popular, as there seems to be more people in that area of the exhibits. But in the short time, you're not able to get a whole sense of the scale, but you do sense that it's pretty. So feel free to make up in your mind what weird and exotic things look like.
Any of the Alpha Quadrant species that we recognize?
A few. So there's like a earth dog, a few species of earth fish. There's a few Vulcan animals, a few species of bugs from Ferenginar, um, various snakes from Cardassia, for example.
So,
Things like that.
so no intelligent life forms being held against their will so far.
No, nope, nope.
So it's just a space zoo, from what we can see.
Yep.
Cool.
Are there concession sellers?
There's like a few here and there, but you do notice that from looking at one of the consoles that there is more of like a food court that has a lot of vendors.
Blackwell will wander through that, just kind of checking it out, seeing, if their replicators and whatnot are able to,
That's
provide
not
food.
at all.
Not at all.
Sorry, Prax said he added something. I gotta find it.
Say again?
Oh, nothing. Found it. So you said you went to go check out the food court and eatery?
Yeah, just to see the if they're able to provide different foods for all the different species, like
So yeah, so when you get there, you do notice that it's kind of like a taste of the galaxy type feel. Like there's different stands of different varieties. There's actually looks to be the species of it. So like it might be like the taste of the Delta Quadrant, and there might be like a Kazon working there or something. A few enterprising Ferengi are serving tube grubs.
Mm.
Okay, so this seems to be like a multi-species.
Yep. Yeah, but you do notice that the dominant species, there is a dominant species that makes up most of the people.
And that's the Kermit.
Yep.
Kermit.
Yeah, the Kermitite. Blackwell will make his way back over to the captain and say, well, from what I can see, Captain, the other species here are here quite willingly and making a killing.
Well, they're not being held against their will, so
I'm just surprised an enterprise of this scale we've never heard about. And I've never seen any Federation briefings on.
well, there's always a first for everything, Doctor.
And then over the PA, you'll hear like the do do do. The proprietor's show will start in approximately 10 minutes. If you wish to catch this show, please make your way to the auditorium.
Sam will kind of, gesture for the captain to proceed, and as she steps past, go, "Yes, Captain, just remember, in medicine we call the first time for everything patient."
She smiles. I'll remember that, Doctor. She'll start heading towards the auditorium.
All right. You guys get to the auditorium, and it's packed. Like a lot of families, a lot of people. It's pretty big. It has a very sizable stage. One of the ushers do usher you to a kind of very good viewing area of the stage, almost like you're getting the VIP treatment.
Interesting. Tell me, the usher is kind of like, how long have you been in underemployment under the proprietor?
Oh, my family's been working for this ship for countless generations. We have been many places in the galaxy.
Must be thrilling to work on such
Oh,
a
it is
vessel.
exciting. And what the proprietor's going to show tonight, I've never seen it before.
So it's a new exhibit.
Oh, he has been harping about what he's got today. That's why we had to move to the big auditorium. We couldn't keep tickets for this event.
I'm curious though. I've seen many different races and people going through the exhibits, yet we're the only ship nearby.
We have traveled all over the galaxy to find these species and these animals and plant lives, and even many of the races we visited. We've been everywhere. We stumbled upon a wormhole a while back. They give some sector name. By sector 985, and it led us to this most unique place. Before them, we were in the Gamma Quadrant.
I see. And tell me, how did the proprietor collect some of the individuals in their exhibit?
Sometimes he trades for some of these species. Sometimes he actually goes on expeditions on these various planets and gets them himself. He is most amazing.
Intriguing. Well, I won't keep you. I'm sure you're very busy.
Thank you. Your seats are right here. If you will have a seat, the show will be starting shortly. I am most certain you will enjoy it.
I'm sure we will.
And as you guys take your seats, the lights dim, and a type of like fanfare music starts to play. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, prepare to be mystified and amazed as I, Lockhart, take you on a journey. And Lockhart walks on the stage. A journey to all corners of the galaxy without ever having to leave this ship. I will show you amazing feats and tricks from some of my favorite species encountered from our travels and trade dealings with the local inhabitants. Tonight, we have some very special guests from the USS Expedition and some exotic species in their own right. Please stand up and be noticed. And you hear a loud applause, and people are actually taking pictures of you.
Just smiles and waves and like,
Look at that! You're already stars.
Sam Gumby
Smiles awkwardly and through a fake smile murmurs, "Exotic species, eh?"
Casey just raises one eyebrow in a Spock-like fashion.
All right, all right, all right. First up is one of the most beautiful and mesmerizing creatures I have had the privilege of spotting in the wild. If you can spot them, of course. Let's see who has the expedition eye. Would everyone roll me insight security difficulty 1?
Ed, I'm sorry, but Roll20's app is not letting me access my character sheet. So, could you?
Yep, I'm sure one of your fellow shipmates can roll for you. I have to do that sometimes when I'm driving and playing too.
Obs. Good.
Real quick, survival for a focus.
No.
Observation for a focus.
Yes.
Oh shoot, I didn't use my focus. I succeeded anyway.
You actually got 4 successes there, Casey.
Oh, very good.
You rolled a 3 and a 4.
I'll roll
Yeah, I
for
forgot to.
Blackwell. Use one of the floating that we have currently to give him an extra dice.
And so you guys are at 6 currently. Back up to 7. Yep. Probably use one for Nadon.
Yes, please.
Yeah, we'll use some for Nadon to squash the complication.
Oh, there was a complication, sorry. So you guys are at 5 then. Alright, so up above at the ceiling of the auditorium, you notice some flickering in the lighting up there. And you start to look around and you notice that everyone seems to be looking up there. And you catch a brief glimpse of what seems to be a creature up there. And the proprietor will continue. But don't be fooled by their beauty. They are deadly with their active camouflage, and they will kill you and everyone you love before you even know they were there. And everyone starts clapping and taking pictures.
Very cool.
Next, we have a carnivore from a remote planet in the Gamma Quadrant. And out on the stage, 3 attendants bring out a beast that stands about 1.5 meters high, and it has large teeth, kind of like I don't know, like if you were to mix like a dog and a bunch of different like Earth animals, it's kind of what it looks like. Have you guys seen like the Never-Ending Story?
If
Doesn't ring a bell.
All right, never mind. But
Good.
just imagine a big beast with large teeth and just drool hanging out of his mouth, and it has 3 attendants that are basically trying to drag this thing and keep it under control. Able to eat a person whole, this beast lives in a heavily wooded area, but the trees won't save you. I have seen this beast knock ancient trees down while trying to eat my expedition team. And then in the go ahead.
Prax leans over the doctor's like, I really hope your comment wasn't realistic, because this seems like a recipe for disaster. Kind of whispers that to the doctor.
The doctor kind of grunts and says, "Yeah, I'm marking out the exits."
So yeah, continue.
All right, in the background, you notice that the beast gets loose and tears off one of the arms of the attendants. And Lockhart just walks up to the arm and just kicks it off the stage and says, "Don't worry, folks. He's a Talarian. It'll grow back." Next, we have a species of mammal closely related to the monkeys of Sarkin. Now, these mammals stand and look almost like a primary species, but have developed a language that the translators cannot make heads or tails of. And out on stage, a few they kind of look like giant like gibbon monkeys. They stand about 2 meters tall. Appear on stage, and there's probably about 3 of them, and they're all making these loud clicks and pops. Everyone roll me insight medicine. We'll make this a difficulty 2.
Whoever rolls for me, spend the momentum if we have it to activate.
Observation also for a focus.
Yeah, I'll get.
I'll spend a momentum for an extra dice. Gained
I
it
think
back.
I'll do the same. Well, that was a waste of a momentum.
Let's see if the doc can get it back. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, Casey got 3 successes. Oh, he spent the momentum though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he broke
So-
even.
I
Doctor
just
got
gained
it
my-
back.
So we're at 4. I'm not gonna bother with because I don't think I'm rolling 11 here. Oh.
Okay, so everyone but Nadon got it.
Yeah.
Then I just gotta find Casey. There you guys go.
Nadon, can you tune the universal translator? They seem to be making clicks and pops to communicate with each other. Maybe the universal translator can make some sense out of it.
I'll give it a try.
So you try to feed it into in the universal translator, and it's not even registering that it's even picking up a language. But clearly, they're doing something.
Interesting. The translator doesn't even recognize it as a language.
Hey, let me know when I can continue.
Go ahead.
I think you're good.
Next up, what you have all been waiting for: the species of the Alpha Quadrant. First up, we have a most amusing creature from a place called Earth. They call it a dog. And on stage, like a type of Labrador runs out. What does it do? What is its purpose? It is one of the many questions that we hope to get answers to in the coming weeks. And everyone stands up, like almost rushes the stage trying to get pictures of this.
What kind of? Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it was like a black lab.
Right. Yeah. I remember you said that.
Doc, I'll send you what I said, since I think you missed it. In case you guys wanted the role play.
We'll play a bit.
I'll do what? And the dog's ears kind of perk up.
Come here, girl. Come.
And the dog starts itching closer to you.
Blackwell goes down and lets the dog like sniff at his hand, and once he or she allows it, will scritch the lab's ears. Oh, what a good girl! What a good girl!
The proprietor will look at you and be like, "Look at that, folks! If I'm not careful, I'm going to be out of a job very soon." And everyone kind of laughs and chuckles and takes pictures of the action. But he doesn't seem upset. He's actually like smiling happily about.
Can I do an insight check on the proprietor, Lockhart?
Uh, sure. Difficulty 2. And what are you trying to find out?
It just seems really suspicious that he invited us, and he's really curious. And he called us by name in the beginning, and then he's got like the dog, of course, from Earth. It's like this doesn't seem right. Like looking for any undefined like motive. Like there's something off about everything here.
Yep. Difficult.
Difficulty 2.
Yep.
I do have cold reading, which I guess this one, I don't know if this would count or not. I'll bring it up when I succeed, though. What's the roll?
Insight command. Difficulty 2.
Deception for a focus? Or composure?
No.
Take a threat. Yeah, I'll let it stand. 2.
I mean, it's a success, so yep.
I do also have cold reading. So
What is that? What does that do?
Succeeding at a task during social conflict generates 1 bonus momentum, which can be used for the obtained information spend to gain knowledge about the individual on the other side of the interaction. If the social conflict involves an extended task, the character generates or gains the scrutinize 1 benefit when rolling challenge dice. Essentially, I get a bonus momentum for.
Yeah, so you get to ask a free question.
Okay. So it doesn't seem like there's anything ulterior motive other than he wants us here.
Not that you could tell from watching him on stage.
Okay.
Any role play between that, or continue?
You can continue.
All right. Eventually, the dog is ushered off stage by some of the attendants. Blackwell, we'll assume, will usher back to his.
Yeah, I was gonna ask while I was scritching the critter if I could take like some surreptitious scans to make sure that the dog was a dog and that it was, if so, it was being properly fed and all.
Yes, on all counts. Yes, it is a Labrador, kind of a purebred. It's well nourished, well fed. There's no bites or scratches or any signs of mistreatment on it. Up, up next, we have a great white bird from the deserts of a place called Vulcan. A flying predator so precise it can spot a small fruit seed from your pocket from 5,000 meters up and can carry the smallest of you away to peck out your eyes and eat them. And with that, all the kids kind of say "ew" and like hide. Some of them hide in their parents' lap. And on stage, you see this great, large winged bird that, if you are a student of Vulcan, would see flying over its desert. Continue.
Do we recognize the bird? Like the species?
If you know any of the life forms from Vulcan, then yes. It depends how familiar you are with Vulcan and their species. But if you do a quick tricorder if you pull out your tricorder to find information, yes, it is a species from Vulcan. I think that answers the question.
Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering if it was not an endangered species or not.
No, very common.
Sorry, I'm just trying to find fault with this guy.
Nope. Perfectly understandable.
I think they're all holograms. Very elaborate holograms.
I mean, the dog scanned as a dog.
Yeah, I know, but
Very
it's like
advanced
Star
hologram.
Trek. Yeah, exactly.
Finally, one of the fiercest creatures I have ever met. I believe they call themselves Klingon. And on stage is brought before you a female Klingon. You honorless buttocks, I'll rip out your heart! And she is bound in chains around her neck and her hands.
Yeah, Prax kind of stands up. Mr. Lockhart, can I have a word with you, please? I'm sorry to interrupt your show, but we have a situation here.
This is most unusual. But this will conclude our show for today. Come tomorrow for even more species. And he'll motion for you to exit through a door to the left.
Blackwell will hurriedly head down to try and get over to the Klingon female.
As soon as he leaves the stage, they're behind the locked door.
So I will scan her then.
What's that? So as soon as he closes the show, they bring the Klingon back behind the door and lock it. So you didn't get a chance to look.
Okay.
What is everyone else doing? So Doctor tries to rush on the stage, but it just misses his chance. Prax is following the proprietor, Casey and Adon.
I'll go follow the doctor, I think.
I'll follow the captain. That way we kind of split up evenly.
All right, cool. So we'll continue the action with the captain and Nadam. Yes, what can I do for you? A complaint about my show?
Very much. The individual known as the Klingon is a sentient species.
Yes, according to our bylaws, it is perfectly legal for us to hold species who are endangered to themselves so that we may protect them and keep them alive.
I hardly think the Klingon Empire would agree with you on that.
When we found this Klingon, she was Klingon?
Yes, it's a Klingon.
It's good to note for adjustments to my speech. Thank you. When we found this Klingon, she was in a shuttlecraft that was losing life support and immobile. We were able to recover this Klingon and give her the aid she needs, and then we decided that it would be best for her safety if we were to make her a featured exhibit.
Well, the first part is, gracious of you. However, keeping her in captivity is not.
But we don't consider this captivity, you see. We are merely displaying her for her own safety and protection. She lives a well life here, Captain. I should say Captain doesn't know that. She lives a good life here.
Yeah, but where I come from, it is wrong and illegal to hold someone against their will.
But we have no such rules here, you see.
Right. However, you are currently in Federation space. Needless to say, if you were to continue traveling in Federation space, we ask that you abide by our rules.
You know, I had a chance to check a couple of your local laws. It's always good to stay up to the local customs of the populace, you see. And I noticed one of your very first laws is something called a prime directive. Does that ring any bells to you?
It does, but there are exceptions to that rule.
I mean, I must admit that I am new to this area. So please enlighten me. What would be the exceptions that would make what we do here legal in the federations, did you say?
Within the United Federation of Planets, this
What
vast
would make
region.
us law abiding in our exhibits here?
While we do allow trade, we do not condone slavery. And your actions here demonstrate a force of slavery or indentured servitude.
I must assure you, Captain, we do not have slavery on the ship. Everyone is compensated for their time, including this Klingon.
Yet she is chained.
Yes, merely a precautionary reason. You see, I have never met a more violent race. She has injured many of our caretakers when they're just simply trying to provide her medical care. So surely you could see the precaution on our end.
And have you consulted her on her willingness to stay? Or are you holding her against her will?
She keeps mentioning something about losing honor and trying to challenge us to a fight. I'm not really sure what that is about, of course.
What you're doing is considered a disgrace among her people. She would rather die on that shuttlecraft than be held captive.
I will admit she has tried to attempt her own death on multiple occasions, hence why we had to bind her hands as well. And ensure that no sharp objects are brought within 50 meters of her.
I will tell you for certain, if you run into a Klingon vessel, which there is a good chance that you would, they would not treat you with such kindness that I am treating you right now.
We have had our share of run-ins with species that made threats to the security of our vessel, and I must assure you that we are most capable of our defending ourselves. The safety of our guests and residences must be our top priority, you see. And our travels do take us into some of the most dangerous parts of the galaxy.
I'm sure they do. Mr. Lockhart, I assure you, this Klingon, she does have a name, unlike your various pets.
We have tried to ask her for one for the accuracy of our exhibits. However, she has been most uncooperative in that regard. So we had to take what we could from her database, which was badly damaged. As you could see from our unfortunate mistake with the species name.
It's even among certain species that reside in the Federation, they mispronounce it as well. believe the humans did that a few times during their first appearance with the Klingons.
Well, I guess we all do make mistakes from time to time. But I am glad that I am able to have this opportunity to fix mistakes in my show. I must maintain accuracy. I mean, you saw the crowd out.
I did, and it was a nice show. However,
Well,
this carnival act, you must be careful because if you take individuals unwillingly and hold them against their will, there can be repercussions.
I assure you that every species that we have here are not held here against their will and are treated in the most humane manner as possible and are treated fairly and kindly.
Forgive me, but if you're not holding the Klingon against her will, why is she chained?
As I explained to your counterpart here, it is for her protection as well as our crew members' protection. I mean, she did try to attack some of us.
And why did she try to attack you?
From what we could tell, it must be a
Klingons
natural
people.
reaction for the species. I mean, there are, as some of the beasts you saw in the show earlier, there are some natural tendencies to attack anything on sight.
Klingons do not attack on sight. They attack when they are threatened or endangered.
As
When
most good
someone's
predator
holding them
would
against their
be.
will.
Any
Forgive me, Captain.
any good predator would attack anything when it is backed into a corner. That is part of the reason we are out here, to study different species, to find commonalities between species of the galaxy. This Klingon is no different than one of the caged beasts we have on Section 3.
How do you determine that, though?
Every species here, we do have scientists employed under our care that study meticulously all of the species. And we introduce them to stimuli both mentally and externally to see their reactions, of course. But we do take efforts to ensure that none of our species or our residents are harmed in this.
Mr. Lockhart, would you be okay with my doctor to examine the Klingon to ensure her health and safety? While the Klingon,
Of course I would. The health and safety of our residents is paramount. If he is able to perform a scan on this Klingon that is able to determine the extent of her injuries, as I no doubt she does have some, but she won't let us examine her to fix them. If he is able to do that, we would be in your debt, Captain.
my other question for you is: how do you determine a species being civilized as well as intelligent to enough not putting them on exhibit?
Language is a big factor. Language that our universal translator can translate is a clear sign of a species intelligence. We have one of the most advanced universal translators in the galaxy. And if our translator can't figure it out, then their language is not one from a higher species.
Well, we've encountered several species that universal translators, and we have one that's very sophisticated as well, that is unable to translate language, and they've been deemed intelligent and spaceworthy.
But we also do have other tests as well. We do have some tests for intelligence, like can they put square objects into a square peg and stuff like that to test their mental capacity and their reflexes. We do show them videos and see if they are able to react to the stimuli and questions about that video. We do have a very thorough determination of if a creature is sentient or not. And if we do deem them to be sentient, we consider them a resident here, and then we reimburse them for their time that they spend here. And many do wish to stay willingly because we do provide a very good life here. And some just wish to leave, and that is perfectly fine.
If the Klingon chooses to leave on her own free will, and if you deem that she is intelligent enough, will you allow it?
Of course, we have no wish to keep a species here against their will, and will even compensate this Klingon for her time spent in our exhibit, of course. But we have to ensure the safety of our resident first. I mean, how do I know that you're not starting a zoo of exhibit of your own with this most unique species?
I assure you, Mr. Lockhart, zoos really don't exist anymore within the Federation.
Of course, if what you're saying is true, surely you can have me speak to one of this Klingon's member species, and I'm sure that can clear up any confusion, of course.
I believe if you speak to one of the members of the Klingon species, you might find yourself at the end of a dagger.
Of course, this will not need to be a face-to-face meeting. A video conference will suffice in this regard.
No, I would prefer to obtain the identity of the Klingon first before I discuss or begin discussions with the Klingon Empire.
Like I said, you are welcome to check on the health of our residents.
I think we'll do that. Have you picked up any other stray travelers in or around Federation space?
Just this is the one that we have come across like this. Of course, we do have some Ferengi on exhibit too. They saw this as a perfect, what did they call it? The perfect business arrangement. They are in section 6 of our exhibit, as well as they do operate a stand in our concession area as well. Something called a tube grub. Vile things. I do not recommend them.
They are an acquired taste, I will tell you that.
So you have heard of it.
Oh, I have. And the Ferengi.
And through some of their contacts, we were quite able to acquire many Alpha Quadrant species. They have this knack of just finding the most amazing creatures.
Oh, I'm sure they will be a wealth of generator for you.
They are proving a most valuable resident here. I mean, this is the largest crowd that I've had for my show in a long time, and it's no small part thanks.
Indeed. Just remember one of the rules of acquisition. Once you have their money, you never give it back.
They are teaching me these rules of acquisition. Some I find rather strange, though. Perhaps we can compare notes about these Ferengi at a later time.
No, that's their most highly guarded rule. DB, I would like to confer with my colleagues here, and I'll have one of your ushers show us to where the Klingons being kept at.
Very well. Thank you very much for looking in on our resident, and I will begin revisions of my show based on your suggestions. I thank you very much. Enjoy yours. And he walks and exits through a door nearby. While all that was going on, what are the doctor and Casey doing?
So, what kind of door did they take the Klingon through?
It's like a security door.
Mr. Casey, do you think you could get us through that?
I believe Casey's mic is muted.
Ah, yes. Once per session.
Yeah.
Gotta be at least once. Yeah. I'll Casey will take a look at that. Whether he can get through the door or not, or if it's like a real secure door.
Casey, give me insight security difficulty 2.
No problem. I'll generate a threat for an extra dice.
Go ahead and make your complication range 2.
Okay. We'll give
I'll
this
spend some threat here.
security. I don't think I will re-roll that one because I might get a complication.
And I'm going to type this out. All right, Casey, I will apologize for the spelling right now. Brain is not functioning for spelling.
I'm sure I can decipher the code. This is not something I can get through, at least in any timely manner, Doctor. It's a Ferengi type of locking mechanism, one they would use to keep their money secure. I think that should be enough of a description.
Oh, for God's sakes. Is there any sort of comm panel built in near the door?
No. No, because you're basically like in a backstage area, so it's very like set up for the performance.
Right. Well, let's go see if we can't find the captain.
Yeah.
Odd enough,
So,
the captain's looking for you guys. So
Probably around this time. Maybe after 5 or so minutes, length of conversation, Captain and the Don probably stroll back into the auditorium, and probably notices you looking at the security device and talking near it.
Ah, Captain. Is the proprietor with him, or?
No.
I stride over to where Prax is. Captain, they've got the Klingon in the backstage area beside a door. Mr. Casey tells me some sort of Ferengi banking lock on it.
it doesn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if the Ferengi take over this establishment. Though the proprietor is giving us access to the Klingon to examine her for her mental or physical and mental well-being.
What did he tell you about her?
They found her in a shuttle. Or was it life pod? Severely damaged and losing life support. She was injured. They helped her, which, I guess good news. However, they have her in chains because she is violent and they don't really see her as intelligent enough.
For God's sake, she's just a Klingon.
Try explaining that to them.
Best line ever.
And you mentioned her mental health. Why do they think her mental health is unwell, unsound?
That's for us, Doctor, not for them. As far as they're concerned, she's in perfect health and well-being.
Well, I'll believe that once I've had a chance to examine her.
One of the ushers should be able to show us to her location.
Well, Blackwell will look around for an usher.
The auditorium is now empty.
So we're gonna, I guess, find one of the ushers to show us.
Okay, we'll go ahead and enter a new scene because I don't think I actually did that yet. So you head back to like the exhibit area, and again you see all the crowds. It's even packed now that the show concluded. But you see people dressed in clothes similar to the proprietor that you recognize as being ushers.
Excuse me, sir. The proprietor, Lockhart, said we could see the Klingon. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure about any permission, but the Klingon exhibit is at section 6. If you just take that turbo lift there and just say section 6, and it'll take you to the area that the Klingon is exhibited. And he points to a turbo lift. I should have mentioned that.
Blackwell is just silently seething.
Thank you.
It is my pleasure. Enjoy your stay.
I guess we head to the turbo lift.
And the turbo lift starts up, and we'll do I'll let you guys do a little role play in the elevator, a la Mass
A la what?
Effect.
Doctor.
Yes, Captain?
Your thoughts, the Klingons' behavior earlier during the exhibit.
Calling them a patak and threatening to kill them? I said she was being fairly restrained.
Agreed.
Fundamentally, I'm surprised she hasn't been able to put a few of them in traction.
Frankly,
understanding-
I'm surprised she didn't threaten to gut them with their own tools.
I believe if it wasn't for the strain, she probably would have already. Probably the reason why they're on.
Try to do it with the restraints.
Well, one thing's for certain, Captain. We can't leave her here.
Agreed. I'm just hoping this doesn't turn into some international incident. This is a very long turbo rift ride.
How big is this ship?
Well, it's huge.
Right.
But have you never seen the Mass Effect where the elevators just go on forever because there's dialogue going?
I've never played Mass Effect.
All right, for those that have, and if not, YouTube videos. But once the dialogue is over, the turbo stops. So
That also happened in Star Trek anyway. So
yeah, yeah. So you guys enter. So the doors open to section 6, and it is just crammed with people, like shoulder to shoulder. You know, barely you can move. Lots of noise, lots of fanfare. Speaking of noise and fanfare, I gotta get my. It still doesn't portray how many people are here, but there's it's loud. Like a lot of people. It's loud. People are happy. People are looking at the exhibit.
Casey will kind of step ahead and start shoving through the crowd, I guess.
and we'll follow behind closely.
Yep.
Step aside, out of the way, please.
What in the name of Lucius Beebe's going on here?
So you get to an exhibit that is actually housing the dog currently, and there's actually what looks to be someone trying to play with it, and that's what's drawing the crowd to this particular exhibit.
Not so sure about leaving the dog either, Captain.
I'm sure maybe we can buy the dog. There's enough latinum. Perhaps they might take culture tapes for a new exhibit. Old Earth cat videos might be appropriate.
Yes, I noticed they didn't have any cats. Because they couldn't catch the cats.
You hear a few children saying, "You honorless Patax, I'll rip out your heart," as they're kind of like play fighting a little bit. Obviously, they're at the show. You know how impressionable children are.
That's right. So yeah, try to keep making our way till we can find the Klingon.
All right. So you guys are walking. You finally get past the crowds. You notice a few more Alpha Quadrant species. As you scan them, you know they come up as being from this planet, that planet. You know, just basic wildlife. But then you come to a place that has like basically it's deserted. Like there's no one in, and there's maybe space for about 4 to 6 exhibits here.
Four to six exhibits that are empty.
Exhibits, yes.
Well, that's not ominous at all.
You know.
Blackwell will see if he can't scan for Klingon life signs.
So the Kelbinite that's lining the ship is making it difficult to scan.
No good, Captain. I can't pick up anything for the interference.
Keep your eyes open, everyone.
All right, everyone, give me insight. What do I want to? Insight something. Hold on.
Yeah, I can actually roll for myself now.
Huzzah. Probably security. Difficulty 1.
Observation focus.
Yep.
I'll let Casey go first. Gain up all that momentum.
Yeah, I'll generate a threat because hopefully I can just get more momentum for everyone else.
We lose 2 momentum.
Well,
Wait, you
he is
spent
bold.
bold. Yeah.
Yeah. So
There you go.
Now you gain 2 momentum.
yeah. Which I will use to kill the complication,
Oh
I guess.
no.
Well, you re-rolled the complication.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if that was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get to pick what dice you re-roll.
In that case, I picked the complication one. The critical fail.
Good call.
I knew that rule. I just completely forgot how to play this game for a second.
It's a weird night.
It happens.
I'll spend a momentum to roll 3. Hopefully get it back. Oh dear God. 2 nats 20s. That's instant death territory D&D. Still play the wrong system. Can I re-roll on the insatiable curiosity value?
Yeah.
All my failures?
Come on, 3 more complications. Boo. 2 momentum out of that. I was gonna have so much fun with your Prax had you let those stand.
Yeah, not yet. So we're over capped.
Yep. But by how much? So
By 1.
Prax got it to 6. 5.
He spent 1
yeah,
month
so
on the
you
5.
got-
Yeah,
got-
right.
So yeah, you got 1 floating.
So spend it, Nadon.
Yeah, I'll spend it. Well.
Oh.
Okay then.
Could
What do you guys want to do with it?
I'll leave it up to Nadon.
I mean, we can get rid of the complication with momentum, but you can choose to spend a determination and re-roll everything.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll spend the determination and reroll. Using the value of setbacks or lessons, not failures. There we go. That's better.
All right, cool. So you all notice that on these exhibits, there's a alien language that seems to be on all the exhibits. You send it through the translator matrix on your tricorders, and it starts reading that the words on the exhibits say something like humans, Vulcans, Cardassians, and each exhibit in this area lists a different Alpha Quadrant species.
Might be time to make a tactical retreat, Captain.
First, let's find our Klingon friend. Be on the lookout, Casey.
I always am.
So yeah, keep going forward looking for the Klingon.
Yep. So you guys, you eventually get to an area where there's a few more people around. One of them you notice to be the Ferengi exhibit with a naked Ferengi female inside with a child.
Of course.
And then the other side of the Ferengi exhibit, with a lot of people looking at it, you notice the Klingon exhibit.
Okay. The doctor will kind of elbow his way to the front and see if I can't. I'm assuming the exhibit is there's some sort of clear partition so that you can see in, or field or something.
Yes. Yeah, it's basically glass. And inside, the Klingon is unbound at this point, but the exhibit is destroyed. All the furniture that was meant for comfort, destroyed, wrecked. and she's just pacing back and forth the room, like very angry, very pissed off. Looks like she's about to strangle whoever might walk into the door.
It's like a glass between us and her.
Yeah, it's like a yeah,
Transparent aluminum.
right.
What do you make of this substance, Lieutenant Nadan? And I'll do a medical scan if I can through the substance of the Klingon.
I will also do a tricorder scan of it.
Okay. So Nadan's role will be a difficulty 2, reason or insight with science. Complication 2. Doctor, your role will be reason or insight in medicine, difficulty 2, complication 2.
Okay. Xenobiology as a focus.
Yep.
I'm good.
Okay. I'll take a momentum for to set off cautious.
You said everyone roll a reason science, right?
No, just those 2.
Okay.
Nadan was scanning the glass, and Doctor's trying to scan the Klingon inside.
I'm just gonna say I have 8.
So Doctor, you bank 2 momentum out of that. All right, so I'll handle Nadan's first. Nadan, you notice that it's basically like like their version of what would be transparent aluminum. It's pretty strong, pretty durable, obviously, because it has to hold vicious beast and a Klingon woman that's trapped inside a cage, so to speak. So you don't think that you could break it with anything. And then Doctor, you do notice that the Klingon does seem to have some injuries. More notably, probably she has like a slight case of asphyxiation from space, so she has some lung damage. But Klingons have 3 lungs, so it doesn't really affect her as a human would. She has some bruising and some cuts around her wrist and neck, probably from the chains. A more detailed scan does indicate that she probably has some broken ribs, possibly from whatever was happening in the crash. They do seem to be a few weeks old.
Okay. Can we use our phasers to get through the glass? Or the aluminum? I asked Nadan.
I will accept that as your free question.
Yeah. Is it something that we could... Yes, we could.
Your orders, Captain.
1 second. She kind of taps the glass. Jai Duvan.
And she picks up a chair and throws it at the glass.
I did speak in Klingon.
I know. She's pissed off. And she'll answer back in Klingon, "What are you standing there for? Get me out of here." In a much more colorful and profanity-filled way.
Kapa. It's so sad when you type in working on that. Comes out Kapa. Kind of like okay for everything, didn't Klingon.
Yeah. Kapla. 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 Kapla.
The many meanings of Kapla. That sounds like it should be a meme.
She taps her comm badge. Away team to expedition.
And the Gross answers, "Go ahead, Captain."
Are you able to get a transporter lock on us?
I do love that. Captain, your current location is too far inside the ship to get a clear lock. The carbonite lining of the ship's hull is making it very difficult to get a transporter lock. I recommend you get to one of the outer portions of the hull.
Very well. We'll contact you again shortly. Nukio Polong. And that's what is your name in Klingon?
Oh, I have to think that far.
Yep.
Wow, this is already.
I know, right? Random name generator. Here we go.
Oh, there's an online translator.
There is. That's what I'm using.
God,
Doesn't help me with pronunciation, but
It's kind of difficult a little bit.
yeah, make one up, Prax. When I went to Fantasy Name Generator, it gave me a pop-up, so I'm gonna run a virus program.
Uh-oh. Stovash.
Works for me. Edge will answer back, "I am Stovash."
Jukwash. What's your house?
So she gives the name of her house, but her house is one that you don't recognize. And again, feel free to throw in a name.
She's gonna go look for an usher, but hold on one sec. She says when to clean up. Witness some more. That's be right back. She's gonna find one of the ushers. In this godforsaken crowd.
Yeah, you find one, and when you walk up to the ushers, he says, "Yes, what can I do for you?"
Can you tell me where Mr. Lockhart is currently at, the proprietor? I wish to speak with him.
I believe he is still in his office preparing for his next show tomorrow. He takes his show very seriously. But is there something that I may be able to assist you with?
Well, I believe it's only he can resolve the situation. Did you know your Klingon friend is royalty?
Any information on the personal level would, of course, only the proprietor would know. Unfortunately, I do not have that information.
Oh, but I do, and I'm telling you, your Klingon is royalty. I must speak to the proprietor immediately.
I will attempt to contact him. One moment. He pulls out a little device and he starts speaking in a language you don't recognize. But nothing comes back on the other end. Huh, that is odd. Normally the proprietor answers quickly when when a information source such as yours comes to light.
Do you have internal security measures? I suggest for the time being to avoid a diplomatic incident with the Klingon Empire that you turn over custody of the Klingon to my away team. Well, to us and onto board my ship. I need to speak to the proprietor immediately.
I'm sorry, I cannot authorize the release of any of our residents here. That can only come from the proprietor. I am sorry, I cannot help you open the exhibit. But if you wish to see the proprietor personally, his office is in section 1.
Very well. Lieutenant Casey, you're with me. Don, Doctor, make sure no harm comes to the Klingon. Stovesh.
Does anyone know what the cookies orphan or doubleclick.net are?
What?
Ed's running a security chance since he got some sort of weird pop-up on the Star Trek name generator.
Oh.
Or sci-fi name generator, whatever it is.
Yeah, it says cookie doubleclick.net, and then another one's called like orphan or something. They're cookies that were removed by my virus program. Does anyone know what they?
Not off the top of my head.
Said that they're tracking cookies, so I'm not too concerned.
Yeah.
But sometimes tracking cookies lead to key loggers. That's what I hate about some of these sites. Anywho, back to your episode.
So, Doctor and Don, please stay here and ensure that no harm comes to the Klingon Stovesh.
Hi, Captain.
Lieutenant Casey, you're with me. I'm going to go pay a visit to the proprietor.
Aye, sir.
So, yeah, go see the proprietor, who mysteriously is no longer talking to anybody.
Okay. We'll enter a new scene. And so you guys take the long turbo lift to section 1. And you're directed to the proprietor's office, and you're standing outside of his office.
Chime the door, or if there's a assistant.
You find a panel, and you're able to find a chime, but there's no response.
Is there anyone around currently?
Not in these hallways, no. This is more like you could tell, kind of like an admin section.
Is the door locked?
It is.
Well, Lieutenant Casey, think you can pick the lock?
As long as it's not one of those Ferengi bank vault locks. He'll take a look at the lock.
Actually, hold that thought. There's no one around at all. No one walking by.
Nope.
What about the person that showed us to the proprietor's office?
He just directed you to section 1. He didn't go with.
I'm going to chime the door again.
And again, no answer. I don't know if it went through, but there's no answer again.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking. Sorry.
All right, cool. Yeah, when I had my virus protection open, it wouldn't let me push the talk.
Lieutenant Casey, I'm about to order you to break in and entering. Are you okay with this?
I can leave this out of my report.
I
Captain?
appreciate that. If you can open this door, please do. But I believe we might have heard maybe screaming. Might be in trouble.
Of course. I could hear it clearly too. Casey will take a look at the lock, see what he can do about it.
Give me control. You know what? Make it daring security. We'll give this a difficulty of.
Difficulty 3?
Yes.
Okay. Not really any applicable focus or value.
Can I assist with presence command? Like I'm giving him a direct order.
If you could tell me on how you would be assisting him in this delicate task.
I'm essentially like more like, check the, back panel here, watch for assuming he said there was something about the Ferengi locking devices that check to make sure that there's no Ferengi bypass here that could trigger some sort of alarm.
Okay, I'll give you presence security.
Okay, I'll generate a threat for an extra dice.
Okay. What's the result?
Yeah.
Total.
So you guys will get a momentum out of that. Sorry, I'm having to do something really quick. Give me 1 second. All right, cool. Had to quickly make a sheet for something. So the door opens, and I'm assuming you rush into the room, phasers drawn.
Yeah. Yeah. Might as well.
Guest phaser out. Kung Fu fists ready.
All right. Inside the office, in the middle, there's a desk. And behind the desk, you notice the proprietor is kind of gagged with his hands bound behind his back. And he's making that muffled sound.
Ferengi.
Quickly scan the room.
And from behind you, you hear, "That will not be necessary."
Fucking Ferengi.
Yeah, it's always anytime there's something suspicious going on, it's always a Ferengi.
And so you guys check behind you, and there's two Ferengi there. One is holding an energy whip with it turned on. The other one has a Type 1 phaser that is aimed at.
And the gentleman. I merely came here for the Klingon, but obviously you have a beef with the proprietor here.
Actually, you made our job so much easier, Captain. See, we thought that we will help the proprietor here finish his collection. This is a most profitable venture, as I'm sure you noticed, right up our alley.
You mean taking captives and placing them in indentured servitude?
It's not servitude. What is the word he called it? Was it residents? That's the word. Residents. They're not servants. They're residents.
More like,
And we offer them all the creature comforts of their home. Behind glass, of course. And you helped us really well, Captain, distracting the proprietor while we were able to spring this little ambush so we can take over this establishment. And no one to the wise. And to think we have exhibits of our own standing right before us.
I assure you, I plan to be no exhibit. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Don't think my name is relevant at this exact moment in time. But the first payment I make to you, you can learn my name then. And he cracks his whip, and it turns on.
Do you realize that if there's a Federation starship nearby, as well as your current Klingon friend is someone special? I don't think the Klingons will take too highly to this.
The Klingons will not be able to breach the security of this ship. Have you seen its size and its weapons capability, Captain?
Oh, I have, and it's impressive, but not impressive as what I just faced a month ago. Surely you've heard of the Battle of Arc 157.
Very nasty business, Captain, that battle. How many did you lose in that foolish area? If I were you, I would have just given it what it wants.
The destruction of the entire galaxy? I don't think so. I would ruin your profit margins.
Us Ferengi can handle a few misplaced species here and there.
I don't think it was the eradication of all life, including Ferengi, Freganar, Cardassia, the Federation, the Klingons, the Romulans, everybody. So we did you a favor.
As we've heard it, they only cared about destroying the Federation. I think most species would enjoy seeing that day.
Do you know what she had in her arsenal, though? She had what's called a doomsday machine. And you know what ship destroyed the doomsday machine? Have you heard of it? The planet killer that gobbled up whole entire systems in a blink of an eye.
Certainly it's not that rust bucket you have out there, is it?
Oh, it is.
That is most impressive, Captain, but unlike your doomsday device, this ship is a touch more maneuverable. Your tactics will not work on this vessel.
Maybe so, but maybe I already have an elite Starfleet commando team already on board this ship. And maybe I have detailed scans of the inside, ready to strike at a moment's notice.
Give me presence command.
What's my difficulties opposed?
Opposed.
Oh, I had to spend. You know what? Deception for a focus? I am lying.
That's not really what I'm looking for. I'll give it to you at an increased difficulty. Or, increased complication range.
Are we still holding our phasers?
Well, we are.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to not get into a fight here, so be ready, though, in case this goes sideways. Take 1 threat, and I'm spending 5 momentum to roll 5 dice.
What range are we at from them?
It's all
I'll probably
it's all,
succeed anyway.
It's all medium range.
5 successes, but I can reroll that 0 DB here in a second. Just waiting on his results. See if I need to.
I think he's close, but and then I gave a 2 threat for something else. So the Ferengi that is holding the phaser, you noticeably can tell he's wavering, and it's getting very not nervous, but more like scared for a Ferengi. And you could kind of tell he's trying to mumble and motion to the person holding.
I do have cold reading, which I do get a free obtain information here.
Sure.
The Ferengi that was holding his, kind of shaking his phaser, does he seem like he's not really too sure about this plan? Like he's not entirely.
Your bluff worked on him. If that's what you're asking. It's not so much he doesn't believe in the plan. It's just, profit above else. And he values his life more than profit.
I'm going to turn to that friend. He's like, so your business partner here seems rather convinced his plan's going to work. Yet I just told you sort of what I'm about to do to this ship because I don't like the way people are being treated here. So you have a choice. Is it worth all the latinum in the world for a piece of hunk of junk by the time I'm finished with it to stay in business with your business partner? Or you can leave this ship and go about your business.
Prax, give me presence command. Difficulty will be 3.
Persuasion for a focus?
Sorry, what was that?
Persuasion for a focus?
Yes.
Difficulty 3, you said?
Yep.
Take a threat. So I have bold command. Would diffuse the tension apply here when attempting to persuade someone not to resort to violence? You may add a bonus d20 to your dice pool.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna spend that momentum because it's kind of like counts as a termination spend in a way. So give you the threat.
Getting the momentum back. Very well, Captain. But rest assured, you have not heard the last of Damon Tongue. Let's go. And they start walking away.
Mr. Casey, please ensure the proprietor is ungagged into his safety.
He'll go do that.
And once you ungag him, he says, "Thank you, thank you, thank you. How can I repay you, Captain?" Since he actually heard Captain this time.
For the record, yes, I am Captain Israel Prax, and that is my ship outside. Now, I would like for you to hand over the Klingon to me. She is definitely being held against her will.
Yes, 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 of course. Anything you need. Thank you very much, Captain, for taking care of these most unscrupulous beings.
My other task for you is I also want the dog.
The dog, that's one of our biggest draws.
I will trade
the children love him.
I will trade you something far more valuable than the dog.
And he kind of perks and is interested to hear your proposal.
Cultural, so music and cultural library from various species. Even something that they called reality TV.
Reality TV. Is this some kind of multimedia platform?
Kinda, yes. It was very popular on Earth about 300 years ago. Their time. Trust me, it's tens of hundreds of hours of entertainment.
If you throw in a few meetings with some of these other members of your federation so we can get some more exhibits on display for our guests, I think you have a deal, Captain.
As long as you take down the plaques that say human, Vulcan, and other members of the intelligent species that belong to the Federation.
I believe we have a deal.
She extends her hand out to shake, but judging by the tentacle, she's not sure.
He'll raise a tentacle and kind of look confused by the gesture, but will put his tentacle on your...
It's called a handshake. The Earth custom.
I see. This is most unusual for a greeting, but if that is your custom...
I will give you for free, database on our culture. You will find it most informative.
Why, thank you very much, Captain. Now, please, don't hesitate to let me know if there is anything that I can do to make your visit more enjoyable.
No, but I believe you probably should reconsider your Ferengi employees.
Trust me, if I ever see a Ferengi again, I'm turning them the other way.
Of course. If you don't mind, I'm going to rejoin my companions, and then if you could get word that the Klingon is going to be placed in our custody for her protection. I'm sure her family is deeply concerned about her well-being.
She will be released from her residence as soon as you rejoin your team.
Thank you. Mr. Casey?
Yes, Captain.
I think it's time to return to the doctor and the Don.
So he'll follow along.
All right, and Doctor, after a few, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes after they leave, one of the ushers motions you to a little backstage area and shows you the door to the exhibit and opens it. Well, I opens and runs the other way, I should say.
Right.
And the Klingon just steps out, ready to fight, but then notices you and just walks past you and starts to exit.
I can take care of your minor injuries in our sick bay if you'd like.
They are nothing.
Fair enough. We can at least offer you transport back to wherever you're going.
A drop off at Deep Space Nine will be more than enough.
Of course, we're happy to oblige. Blackwell to Captain.
Yes, Doctor. I believe the Klingon should be released here shortly.
Yes, Stovash has been released and is out and about upon her own recognizance. I would suggest, and the doctor's voice kind of dropped, that we get out of here before she runs into any of her former jailers.
Yes, indeed. I'll meet you at the transporter room. Theirs.
Very well.
And Prax is gonna, put a leash on the dog and walk the dog to the transporter room.
Lady Stovash, if you'll follow me, we can show you the way to the transporter area and get you off of this.
And you all, so you all walk through it. The Klingon is very agitated with everyone she sees, obviously, but is knowing where she is and is eager to leave. You eventually meet up in the captain at the coordinates where you originally beamed from. You see that he has the Labrador on a leash type thing.
Oh, it's the
Hey,
dog.
boy!
And the dog kind of jumps on you and
Yeah, Blackwell kind of crouch down
barks.
and scritch its ears.
And the dog licks your arm and hand. And
Looks up. So we get to keep him?
Yes, we get to keep him. She hands the leash to the doctor.
Good
so
boy.
my bay has a mascot now.
Yeah. I think I'll call him Leonard.
Prax to Expedition. 6 to beam out.
And with that, it will be the end of Under the Big Top.
Yay! The doctor has a dog.